Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists, and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies.
Hey everybody, it's Leah Riley here.
Hello, it is Megan.
So now that we have added a video component, so if you're only listening to us still just on like an audio platform, by all means continue. I'm not going to belabor this point, but something that I think is funny is I've gotten really used to the fact because we've never done video before and we've added this video component now to YouTube. I have a few bits of feedback for myself that I'm finding interesting. One is I forget how much I'm like the Where's Waldo of recording. And so Megan is always in the same spot for recording in perpetuity. It's been like, you at one point were in like a different part of your room, but like you're always in the same space. I feel like I'm popping up like in any different, like every single time we've recorded, I've been in a different spot.
It's very true. I never know where you're going to be. It very much is Where's Waldo.
Yeah, but you do know my, like, and so as people begin to watch, if they watch videos of us longer, they're going to start to see my usuals.
Yeah.
But, for now, we're still in the surprise. So where I am right now is I podcast when I'm back at like my primary house in our walk-in closet, which is my husband's office. Because in COVID, his office, like his chapter of he works for a national organization, but the chapter of his office closed the local office. And so he routed into our closet. We had a window put in the closet, and there he has been ever since. So someday in my adulthood, I will live in a house where I have a closet in my bedroom, but I'm not there yet. So it means that in our house we have like musical closet chairs. So the hall closet is my closet, like which would be like the linen cupboard, has been modified to be my closet. And then the coat closet where you like enter the house and there's normatively a coat closet, that's his closet. So we just have like closets around the house.
Yeah, I love it. Your background is either like Jungi stuff, it's just like all Jungi,
All
or it's like
BTS, yeah.
or and BTS, or it's like biology books. I
Yes.
guess.
So today is the day that it's all the biology books behind me in the closet and like random papers and printer stuff. So anyway, all that to say, the second thing is that when we do add a video component, I now realize that I can't hose my struggle meal dinners,
My
which
God.
is,
What? Oh my! Remember the one time you ate? My God, what was it? Like Cheetos? No, not Cheetos. Cheez-Its.
yeah, like Cheez-Its with curry. That's a
Yeah, I
pretty,
think you your meals. It was like you never knew what she was gonna eat, and it was always something that like we did not think the flavors went together. But
I
she
eat like
loves it.
one reason I'm successful working at college campus is because I have a college aesthetic that I've never lost, which is I can eat bullshit college meals anytime.
Yeah, you eat like a frat boy.
Yeah,
That's what.
I am a frat boy. Today,
Hey,
actually, today I was like with workmates, and like I normally like keep it together mostly for work, but like I've been gone. Like I went and saw the Jin concert. I went and saw my brother. Like I've just kind of like been feeling myself, and I got up this morning at 4 in the morning. So the other thing was just we were both saying, "Oh, we feel a little bit rough today." So yeah, I got up at 4 this morning. I'm in. Last night I went to bed at like 12:30, 1. And I was like, look, I'm going to be getting up at like 4:30 to go to the airport. I'm just going to sleep in the clothes. Like, I'm just going to put my clothes on. I'm going to sleep in. So I just like rolled out of bed, got in the Uber this morning, and then went right from the airport to the office. So I'm not looking like, this is not the glam day for me, but you got me today. I also don't know where to look anymore because I normally realize I just talk to my microphone, but that doesn't make like somehow I'm like, oh, I normally just speak to this. I should be, where do
right.
I look? I don't know.
Well, I
And if
noticed.
you're just listening, you're like, this is really boring because I can't see anything.
No, well, I noticed I look so my webcam, I have a really big screen. Don't get me started. We have like our monitor. We have a lot of my husband is a software developer. We have like a million computer components in our house, and my monitor is actually too big. I don't really like how big it is. So my webcam is like way on top. I have to angle it like totally down for it to even get my face because I'm so short. And I noticed, like, if I'm looking just like straight at you on my screen, it looks almost like I'm looking down. So
Mm.
sometimes I'm like, maybe I should look like up at the webcam. And it feels weird. So I'm like, I hope people know I'm like, I swear I'm like paying attention. I'm like looking. It's just my webcam is up. So anyway, yeah, it has been an experience. but it's been, I don't know, it's fun. We got some good feedback. We had a message on our YouTube that was like, I have a feeling maybe this person only like has listened to us on YouTube because they were like, well, this was a nice surprise. It
I
was
mean,
so
what
nice
a
to see your face.
jarring shock if you've been a normative YouTube listener. Amy's put every single podcast ever on YouTube. One day we're just there staring back. I'd feel disconcerted.
Yeah, like we've always put our podcast on YouTube. It's just we told literally no one. It's just like there if anyone wants to listen to it. But it's like our logo. Like you would just listen to it in your headphones like you would a podcast or whatever.
More
And
exciting for people to see, like, because we've met people in real life. Is it exciting, do you think, or do you think we disappoint?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're just regular people, you know? I went to the AT's concert and I went with my friend named Lauren. And I've known Lauren for like 10 years. Okay. It's been a really long time. Um, and she is an introvert and I'm an extrovert. And first of all, she's 5'11. Just 5'11. I am 4'11. So we look ridiculous together. And she had on the cutest outfit. She was very 80s, but she had on like a short skirt. So her like long legs were just like my entire body. I mean, it was ridiculous. But I had like little like freebies to give away and it had our business card in it and like AT stickers and CopyCo. But I wanted to like help promote our pod. I figure I'm at a K-pop concert. There's probably people there who watch K-dramas, which there were. I ran into them and talked to them about it. But it was funny because right away I'm like on it. I have all these freebies in my purse. I'm handing them out. I'm handing them out. I'm talking to people. I kind of have like a little spiel. It's funny because Lauren at one point looks at me and she goes, wow, you really know how to people. It was just so funny the way she said it. And she's like, I love coming to concerts with you because she was like, I am not an extrovert. And she's like, you'll just talk to anyone. I'm like, yeah, yeah, like I know that is me. But it was just funny how she said, you really know how to people.
That's
I was like,
cute.
well,
Yeah, and so again,
thank
I
you.
feel like I'm the middle of the road. I feel like you definitely are like the extrovert, like full stop. Amy is fully the introvert, and I would say that like I'm like an extroverted introvert, really. And so I can be around people and like not get drained, but I wouldn't say that I unless we're hitting like a topic of special interest to me, I tend to be quiet. But okay, so now I remember what was happening. I was saying I was tired, my
Mm.
filter was down. We were in a work training
Okay.
and
Yeah.
there was a student, or not a student, there was one, I was at a table with colleagues and somebody had said something and I was like, what did you just say? I'm like, did you just call like someone daddy? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, you can call me daddy. I was like, wait, am I? I was like, oh, I like normally don't make those jokes at work. And she like looked at me and she was like, oh my God. And she's like, okay, daddy. I was like, that's right, baby. And then I was like, wait, I need to stop or I'm going to HR.
This is like that's your after hours persona coming out.
Yeah, I was like, that's my after work. Yeah, it was just really funny because I was just like, okay, this is funny. And I really don't want, like, I'm being totally facetious and I don't want to end up, I don't want my Coldplay moment.
I was just gonna make a Coldplay joke. That's so funny. How can you not?
I don't know. Apparently, my husband is the only person. If one of our listeners is the CEO of astronaut, no, my husband has sympathy for you,
Oh,
and
of
he's
course
the
it does.
only one because I came back. I said something. I was just like making small talk even, and I said something about like, oh yeah, like it's like that funny Coldplay thing. He's like, funny, huh? And I'm like, what do you? Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's not the most hilarious thing I've ever seen, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny. He's like, I don't see what's so funny about it. I was like,
It's such a Nick thing to say. I love
such a
him.
Nick thing to say. I'm like, I think I'm a contrary little bitch. Like, come on, Nick. Like, I was like, just enjoy a billionaire's downfall. And then we got into like this
Yeah.
whole thing at my brother's house where, yeah, anyway. Oh, which is a great segue because I was like, there can be. I'm like,
There's no ethical
there's no
billionaires.
good billionaires.
Yeah.
And my brother tried to like push back. Not really. I don't know. I wouldn't say push back, but like, he was kind of like mulling it. And I was just like, it's not that being wealthy is bad. Like, I want more money. I want to increase my wealth. I'm not saying money is a bad thing, but when you have that much money, I'm going to question how you got it, and even if you got it through like a good way, then why do you have it? Because you have no business with that. Like there's too many good things you could be doing not to have it. So yeah, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to make that judgment claim.
Me too. Me too. And that does lead into what we're
It's a
going to talk
great
about.
segue.
It
So
is.
look,
Good job.
Daddy brought home the goods tonight.
Daddy does think the Coldplay concert situation was funny. And let's talk about some billionaires. Well, kind of.
Let's get into some of the least well acted billionaires in the biz.
God,
What are we talking about tonight?
we will get there. Yeah. So we're talking about Squid Game, baby. Squid Game's over. Season 3 is done. Finito. Leah and I watched it, and we can't wait to talk about it. So this is funny. When I was like kind of researching a little for tonight, the first season of Squid Game aired in September 2021.
Hmm.
And I couldn't decide if I thought that was like, I thought it was like, I guess I don't know. I guess I thought it happened quicker than all that. So, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Wait, you thought it was like more recent or more
Yeah.
far? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why.
No,
And
because the
maybe,
first BTS concert I went to was in December 2021, and Kim Tae Kyung was dressed up like a Squid Game guard on stage.
okay. Cause that was probably like the height of
Yeah, like
the
it was like
manic.
definitely like it was in the zeitgeist.
Right. So here we are in the summer of 2025, finally wrapping up the storyline. So I don't know if I really need to give like an overview of the series, but
No.
I mean, you know what it is. And if you
If
don't
you're
know what
here
it is,
for the end of season 3, I'm hoping that you at least go. If you don't know, go hit the Goog.
yeah, and we have covered season 1 and 2 on this podcast, so you can search for the episodes. It's, so we've got you covered there, and of course we're back to do season 3. And today we are going to focus on season 3. We're not really talking about season 1 and 2, just FYI. And we'll try to avoid spoilers for just a bit. We're gonna have like some sort of general questions. And then we'll let you know when we're getting into spoiler territory, but we're gonna try and get there kind of quick. Okay, because if you're listening to this, I'm sure you've watched Squid Game. I do think we need to give a little bit of a baseline though. How did each of us feel about season 1 and 2? So did you like season 1 and season 2?
I mean, I'm gonna just say I like Squid Game. There, I, I'm not sure like what it is that makes because I feel like sometimes I feel like I almost have to be like apologetically like it, and I'm always like, why? I mean, it's like, is it because it's really popular? I I like it. I enjoy Squid Game. I am a Squid Game stan. I have come out strongly in favor of Squid Game time and time again. I think it's a good drama. And we'll talk about it more tonight, but I continue to be I got tonight I'm going to unpack how I feel about Squid Game in the end, but for seasons 1 and 2, yes to Squid Game.
Yeah, I mean, I did too. I thought Squid Game was, I mean, is it my favorite K-drama? No, but I really enjoy it. I think it's massively entertaining. I think it has something to say, and I will kind of get into this, but it's also not subtle about it. Like there's nothing subtle about what Squid Game is trying to say. Do I think some people still miss it, the point? Yes. Especially when we have like a reality show of Squid Game. I'm like, stop, everyone stop. But yeah, I've always liked Squid Game. I like the memes that come out of Squid Game. I like being a part of kind of the Squid Game algorithm and the viralness of it. I actually really enjoy it.
I feel like Squid Game is to me what K-pop Demon Hunter is to you. Not to say that you can't
Fair.
be a Squid Game enthusiast like I can. And I'm not going to say became my whole personality, but I really, yeah, I do. My algorithm does get affected sometimes by Squid Game, like you said. Like I get into the memes, I get it, and I I really enjoy the music. I think the aesthetics were amazing, and I think about it a lot. I think the visuals are great, the music's great, the characters that we met along the way were, I thought, interesting and nuanced. I don't think it's a perfect drama, but I think it gets so much right that I'm giving it a thumbs up to
Yeah.
Squid Game.
And how did you feel about the decision to split season 2 and 3? So season 1 was, I would say, like a complete story. I forget how many episodes it was, 10,
Mm.
something like that. And then season 2 was like 6 episodes. It was very short. And same with season 3. It was like very short. And you could tell season 2 and 3 were like split in the middle. And did you like that they did that? Or what are your thoughts?
Again, I think I'm gonna unpack more of that tonight. I think I liked it better than you did. So it didn't bother me. And part of it was I was like, "You know what, Netflix, get your bag. Like, whatever this is that means that you needed to break it up. Like, I guess, are you just trying to, like, milk the wave longer, like, edge us more? Sure." I guess I can understand that, and having, like, come through different series like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, where things like had a cliffhanger and you kind of waited. Like, I don't mind the edging that much. Did it feel a little bit like cheap? Yes. And I was like, it also feels very Squid Game to do this. And so it didn't it didn't make me very upset to end from season 2 to season 3, and really we're talking about it as well. It's truly one season because
One
season 1
season.
really is a holistic story. Seasons 2 and 3 truly are just season 2 just spread in half. I do think it has a little bit of a my dearest, if I have to draw an analogy, where I feel like season what we're gonna call season 2 was very in my opinion, season 2 was very good. I know that there was criticism about it. I will push back on it. I think season 2 was really well executed, and just like I felt like my dearest didn't land the promise that it, like, really hyped, I feel like that's what happened to me with Squid Game 3.
So I still really hate the decision to split 2 and 3 from a creative perspective. So I agree, and I actually like the writer and director, he's on record saying that he made, like, no money in season 1, and he, like, made a season 2 and 3 to, like, make money, and, like, so I support that, and I get it. I get, as you said, like, Netflix, like, milking that sweet Squid Game teat, but I creatively really hated the break because I think both then season 2 and 3 to maybe other people, like, I sort of viewed it together, but I do think, it then just looked unfinished. Like, almost both of them looked unfinished because I think if you're following what, like, you normally see as, like, a storyline, it was so broken in the middle, and it irked me. I saw something where the director said something about, "Oh, well, Gihun has, like, another journey," and, like, for season 3, and while I agree, we're gonna talk about this too, I actually almost, like, started to lose interest in him,
Same.
and so that's why I was like, so if that's what you're hinging it on, that didn't do it for me. I just wish they would have put it together. Like, I
I
just
don't
wish
know.
they
I
would
don't
have.
think I would have liked it better if it was put together. I still to me personally, 2 might even be my fave.
You were really into 2.
I was
You loved it.
really into 2,
Yeah,
and 3, as we're gonna get into later, there's elements I like, there's elements I don't like, but now I'm just repeating myself so we can keep moving on, but
right.
at the end of the day, you hate the decision, I'm fine with the decision.
Yeah,
Well, did you have expectations for season 3? I don't wanna get into spoilers yet, but I guess what I'm
yeah.
just gonna say is, did you have expectations? Did you have things that you were expecting to see or kind of feeling like you needed to see, or were you just along for the ride and just, like, existing in vibes?
I think I was like, I had thoughts about how it might end. Um, did it end the way I thought it was going to? No. We will get to that. Did I end the way I think it probably should have? Yeah. I don't know if I really had expectations, for real. I think I was just like, "Give it to me. Like, what do you have in that Squid Game tank? What are you gonna do with these characters?" And I was excited about where we were gonna take them narratively. I always love what games they come up with.
So when I watched season 1, I liked season 1, and I was highly annoyed at the end of season 1 to have there be a cliffhanger to, like, lead to a season 2. So as much as I'm being contrary
It's
with
okay.
saying that I don't mind, like, the gap between 2 and 3, but it jarred me when I first saw it because I wasn't really expecting a sequel. I don't know why. I should have, but I
Yeah, I
wasn't. And
wasn't
so when it
either.
happened, I was like, "Motherfucker, I don't really wanna see this." Like, what else does Squid Game have to say? Like, I feel like we got it, Squid Game. So, I came into season 2 kind of a hater, just being like, "I'm gonna watch it," but also, like, I I'm not I'm gonna watch it just to watch it because I enjoyed it before, and I like the world, and I know the world, but am I excited for it? Have I been anticipating it? Not really.
Mhm.
The cast had me kind of curious, but beyond that, I came into it to be I came into it, like, very meh. And mhm, I left season 2 incredibly pleasantly surprised, and I think there's a lot of reasons for it. One is I think that a lot of the things that they're touching on in season 2 are things I'm thinking about or witnessing happening in real time. So it's nice to feel not gaslighted and be like, bad shit is bad shit. You know, basically at the end of the day, yes, like I validate that. And so I think that then going into season 3, I was much more optimistic of like, okay, like we ended on a cliffy. I don't know. I really want to know what they have to say. Like, what's going to be the message that's going to bring it home for 3? I have some ideas, but I really am not quite sure what we're going to do. Like, are we going to bring down the downfall of everything? Are we going to have kind of more of like a hell is other people and kind of keep leaning on that? And then just kind of like, like, and then I was like, or are we going to have some sort of like Disney esque ending, which feels like a miss? And so I wasn't sure. And so I was really ready to just be like, sign me up. I don't know. I know a bunch of people are going to die. I'm pretty sure everyone I like is going to die, and let's see what happens. Like, who's gonna win Squid Game? Are we even gonna have Squid Game get to a winning part? I actually thought we wouldn't. I thought we were not even gonna make it to a win.
So I will agree with that. I didn't think there would actually be a final game. I didn't think we were getting to a final game. I thought things were going to implode before we ever got there. Yeah, I would say I agree, and I thought the same thing.
I thought even like a subversive element would be that like the players would eventually like win some sort of an uprising. The game would happen, but it would be like a flipped reverse where like the VIP, like they'd take people like the baddies and put them in the game in some sort of way. And that would kind of be the closure of almost like a Lord of the Flies. Like, do you become like, there being like a grappling of like, do you become the evil that has like threatened to consume you? Now you like take it and or don't take it and reject it. Like that's if I had to predict, that's kind of where I was going with it.
So this is the thing, in season 2, not that many of the core characters died, or at least not the characters that you're kind of meant to like. Does that make sense? And so I was like, I just don't think I don't think they're gonna kill them all. Like something's gonna happen. Like I know the like uprising of season 2 didn't work, but I still feel like we're not gonna get to an end. But joke's on us. So okay, so we're gonna get to the spoiler section now. I told you that was gonna be short because come on, again, that's what you're here for. So we're gonna get into everything now. So season 2 ends with a failed coup attempt by Song Gi-hun, the main character, played by Lee Jung-jae, and his like small army of contestants. So his best friend is dead, as well as many others at this point. So Gi-hun definitely starts season 3 as a changed man, even more so than at the end of season 1. So at this point, were you still in I guess, how did you feel about his character journey? At the beginning of season 3, were you invested, and did that, like, hold up through the rest of the season?
So I didn't care about him at the end of season or at the beginning of season 2.
Yeah, I
I
knew
was
you
like,
were never
you have a, and I've never really super been into him, but at the
Me
beginning of
either.
season 2, I was like, okay, like I really kind of don't care about what your like game plan is here. It's very foolhardy. I get that it's bringing us back into the world, but again, I came in like kind of to be a hater. I was like, meh, I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
I liked him in season 2 enough. At the
Uh-huh.
beginning of season 3, when he's kind of lost faith and trust and is just mad and like giving Kong Han Newell's character like the death stares and stuff, I was like, oh, please. Like, I mean, of course, there was going to be trauma. I felt like it was, to me, a little more on the nose than it was needed to be. And then at the same time, I'm like, what am I quibbling about? Like it's an archetypal, like, he's lost faith. We just have to watch him lose face. So I get why like narratively you would have that. I just was bored by him. And I was bored by his sads and I never felt like I was connected. So I felt like I understood why they were having his character do that for the plot, and I thought it was a boring choice, and his character already is a boring character to me, and so I was just like, "Meh." Like, I'm so much more invested in everyone else than, like, him being sad and having to be, like, handcuffed up at night so he can, like, pout in the corner because he, like, fucked up.
I have to say the memes of him staring at, Daeho, played by Kang Han Newell, and then seeing the memes that was like my cat at 3 a.m. and then and like me trying to sleep, those are my favorite. I love them so much because that is like me and my cat at 3 a.m.
And I was also like Daeho, like, and I thought like that it made the Daeho because what happens at the end of season 2 is Daeho chokes basically. Daeho overpromises and underdelivers on their abilities. And that's really interesting. And Kang Han-wo's a very dynamic actor who
Mhm.
is playing at like the top of the game. And so I was like, okay, we have some like real messiness to grapple with. And instead it just turned into like, "You let me down." And like, yeah, that like long 3,000 stare look. And then like, Daeho's character being like uncomfortable and guilty, but also kind of like resolved, like, I guess I'm gonna have to figure out a way to like survive through this. And I just think I wish there had been more surprises embedded there. I do think Squid Game brings some surprises, but in this relationship, there was no surprise.
Yeah, I think they like fumbled Daeho's character a little bit. So Daeho was the one who obviously he had told everyone he served in the military. He didn't. He clearly had trauma surrounding anything relating to guns, and I wish they would have kind of got a little bit more into that. Like clearly Daeho didn't like violence. Um I kind of wish they feel like in season 3 he was sympathetic in season 2, and then in season 3 they kind of didn't like delve into like why he would be like they didn't let us like be empathetic to him, which
No, it was just like a
bugged
cat
me.
and mouse game almost where like
uh
he was
it's
being
like
hunted around and he was either like being like wimpy and kind of like slinking around or like having like moments of defiance. And it honestly just felt like two bros being broy. And that's like my least, like, I don't care.
Yeah, I think Daeho was meant to make Gi-hun kind of turn and look at himself, because that kind of that was kind of like part of it is Daeho's like, was it my fault or was this your fault? Like whose fault was this really? Which I kind of did want to be like, Gi-hun, this was never gonna work. Like
Yeah.
I don't give a shit how much ammunition you had. This was not gonna work.
Yeah,
Like
the
this was
whole
never gonna work.
Gi-hun's whole plan didn't fall apart because Daeho wasn't able to get the ammunition.
Correct, and so that's why I was, like, a little irritated. I was a little irritated by that, and I understand that Gi-hun was kind of in this, like, daze where he wanted to blame someone other than himself. I get it, but I also think that could have been done much better.
Yeah.
Like,
So
instead they made I wish they kind of would have made Daeho be almost a little bit more of a moral like, a moral being over Gi-hun, and instead he seemed to kinda just, like, flail with panic, and I
well,
was like, "Ah, could
let's
have done
unpack
so
this
much
because we're
better."
in the spoiler section now.
Yeah,
So, Gi-hun kills Daeho in the end. He strangles him as Daeho's final words are essentially like, "It's your fault."
it's your fault, and he strangles him with his bare hands, like, this there's no he's supposed to stab him in this, like, hide and seek game. He doesn't stab him. I mean, he kills him by strangling him, which is incredibly personal.
Yeah.
It's
So
an incredibly personal way to kill someone.
and so yeah, they they're kind of like who's gonna survive. And you at that point I was like, okay, like Daeho's toast, or like we're gonna have a twist, but like most likely this is the time that Daeho's out.
Yeah, and
And I
it
was just
felt
like,
inevitable, so then I was like, "You're dragging this out for, like, a whole episode."
yeah, a whole episode, and it wasn't super interesting. Not a lot of like characterization was unpacked. There wasn't a lot of surprises. There wasn't a lot of reflection given. There wasn't a lot of empathy put into like kind of like unpack Daeho more. Then we have this highly personalized murder where like we're not even doing like a quick stab, whatever. We're doing like a slow like I'm squeezing the life out of you, and
And
then
I
like
hate you, and I want you to die because I blame you.
yeah, but then
Like, very
Daeho getting
personal.
out that final, like, just to kind of like really nail the hammer on the head, like it is your fault, which obviously it is, I guess. I mean, is it any, like, they're all screwed in Squid Game, but yeah. And then later, I don't think it really grounded anything for the later developments in the plot where he makes moralistic choices, where we're meant to be like, no, he's gonna make some upstanding choices that like the front man. I was like, at this point, I don't know what you're trying to tell me about this person. Like,
Yeah, why are you trying to tell me that Gihun's, like, the good of the good? I'm like, he strangled someone with his bare hands.
and then like three episodes later doesn't stab the real baddies in the neck with a knife, so I guess he's a goodie now. I was like, fucking stab them all at this point.
These baddies want to kill a baby. And you're like, no, no. Now, all of a sudden, I found my ethics and morals, and I'm
Yeah,
not
just so
going to
we could
stab
have the
them.
front man sit up in his tower and be like, oof, well, when I had a chance, I stabbed everyone. I'm like, yeah, I would have, like, honestly, real talk. I was like, I don't think that this was a win for humanity,
No.
skipping this neck stabbing at that point.
I was like, Gihun, stab them.
I
You
was like, stab
already,
the baddies,
yeah,
save the few morally gray left. They're not
yeah.
going to vote. They're going to vote to end the game, and then you're going to get out. Problem solved.
Crazy, crazy. I couldn't, I had that was the point where I was like, so I do think this drama had a lot to say, and we're going to get there. But I think this is where it failed with what it was trying to say in regard to like the morality of Gihun. I think that was a big fail for me. I understand what they were trying to tell me, but when you just showed me 2 days ago when he strangled Dago, but then he wouldn't kill the real baddies to save a baby, I was like,
And Daho felt far less complete. I mean, I know he just had his like vendetta rage, but none of it, for me as a viewer, none of that ever unpacked in a way that, yeah, I was like, okay, I'm fully buying that choice. I'm seeing why that choice went to that choice. And then I was also like, well, I guess, you can also make the argument that in real time, people are going to make chaotic choices and these are stressful. And I'm like, that's fine, but this isn't real life. I'm watching like
this is a show.
a show that's also like fairly heavy-handed with what it's trying to say. Not that I'm complaining, but like it
No.
is. It's not
Yeah.
subtle. And so in this case, to me, the fact that we had like that to that, if it was me giving feedback to the script at that point, I would have been like, either you need to make Daeho's death much more complicated and messy, or you need to come up with a better, like, it's just like, I'm not gonna all of a sudden be like, now he's a good guy and look at him and now he's saving the baby. Like all the things that happened from then on, I was like,
I
look,
really think I really think that what should have happened is he should have like fought Daeho, almost killed him. Then they kind of have like a moment where Daeho's like it's not my fault. It's not your like there should have been some sort of epiphany there where they
humanity
both
to humanity.
yeah, humanity, humanity. And then if you want still need to kill Daeho, have someone else stab him. Like you knew at that point there were red shirts running around all over the place stabbing people. So have him die some other way, but not at the hand of Gihun and not by like again he looked him in the eye and strangled him to death. That's
Or
crazy.
have Gihan have killed him in some sort of way that, yeah, would have led to a like recoiling of what he did. Because I was also like, maybe that was it too. Like he strangled and then was like, I can't go down this dark path. We didn't even see that crap. Like that would have been also to me just boring as hell. But like I think that's kind of what we were almost meant to see. Like because that brought him back into himself. He no longer was like a mopey sad second. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yes, horrible things happened to him, but he kind of like got his mojo back after he killed Dohei. He was almost like, okay, no, what I did was wrong. Now I'm connected back to myself. And I was like, what? No, Jesus Christ. Like, no.
It wasn't my favorite, but then he's never been it's funny, I read an article from the director and all he did was talk about how great of a character Gi-hyun is. And I was like,
Gihan to me is the least interesting character in all of Squid Game.
of all the of all the characters, he's the least interesting. And so I thought it was funny that this entire article was the director being like, how amazing is this character? Isn't he incredible? And it's like, not really, but okay.
I
Um,
mean, every other character I'm so much more interested in, except for maybe Wee Jun's character. Don't care.
we'll get
And
there.
we can get to him too. Don't
Well,
care
in
about.
fact,
Oh,
like let's do it.
let's
Let's
do it.
talk about some other characters. And
Okay.
so I'm just gonna mention a few. So we have the love to hate him Myungi, played by Im Si-wan, the pregnant Jun Hui, played by Jo Yuri, the badass Hyun Ju, played by Park Sung Hoon, and the pink soldier No Ul, played by Park Yu Young. So yeah, kind of let's like kind of talk about our favorites, what we think about their motivations, and also maybe like were we happy about their fate or not?
I
Can I
mean,
talk about?
yeah,
Oh, go
go
ahead.
for it. Get into it.
I need to talk about Hyunju. So Hyunju was I almost want to talk about her in the present because I love her so much.
She was
Um,
a standout character.
Standout character out of season 1 and season 2. So she was the trans woman played by Park Sung-hoon. I was so attached to this character. Um,
So this is player 120 as well, because some people go by
Thank you.
numbers.
They do. Thank you for that because I did forget. I was so attached to her that and I thought she was gonna last real far. Like, I really did in my heart of hearts. So when she died, at the end of that, like, hide and seek game, I will be honest, it was almost like Glenn's death in The Walking Dead. I was like, "I don't even know if I wanna watch anymore." Like, she was so much the heart of season 3 I'm sorry, season 2 into season 3 that
Hmm.
her death shook me so hard, especially because, oh my god, the way she protected, the 2 women, so she protected, Jo Yu-ri and Gumja, so she's player number 149, Kang A-sim. So, Hyunju was, like, their protector in a way that I was like, "I need a Hyunju in my life, like, someone protect me like that." In the hide and seek game, the way she fought people just to save especially, Junhui, who again is pregnant at this time, was amazing, and then when she found the exit so the whole goal of the game was if you find the exit, you can leave and you're safe. She found the exit, she was about to leave, and she's like, "No, I gotta go back, I gotta get them, I gotta tell them I found the exit, I gotta get them safe." And, she walks into the room where they were hidden, she says, "I found the exit," and fucking Myungi, the party pooper, stabs her in the back. And it was so hard for me, that was a moment I kind of started getting the sense that she wasn't gonna last because especially because she had been stabbed so many times during, like, all these fights, I was like, "Oh, the stabbing in the leg. That's a that's a bad sign in Squid Game." But I guess the way it happened and the way she went back was so oh, it was so hard for me. I mean, I gasped, and I hated the way I hated it. Like, I'm not saying that I don't think it was done the way it should have been done, but it was a real heartbreaker for me.
It was. So I'm going to say like these are the ways, and I'm going to sound like a psycho, but these are the way that death is done right to me in Squid Game is that for her character, um so when we have player 120 or Hyunju Dai, like for me also a fan favorite, like compelling character, very, very well acted, and had an interesting backstory, a sympathetic backstory. So I was really cheering for them. And they were highly competent as well, like a very skilled fighter. They were smart. They were playing the game hard. They were trying to get people, just good people doing good things. And the fact that they died in such an anticlimactic way, like coming back and being a good person, like, hey, let's go this way, gets stabbed in the back by a more like one of the more morally gray characters, and just kind of like dies in a very quick, like, and then they're dead. That's where I think Squid Game works so well because it's like the banality of like evil and death and these things of just like you're so invested. She doesn't go out in a blaze of glory as like the big hero and like, whatever. It's just like this moment of like they're acting heroically and they're acting good. Their goodness gets them killed, and it gets them killed in a very like, yeah, when you get, like, the stab in the back, and it wasn't even by, like, your arch enemy or anyone, it was just another rando pl like, it was just a player, like, they had no real big, huge beef connection or anything, it was just like, "Bleh, I'm dead," and I feel like that's where it's good because that's when you're like, "Okay, I'm not shocked because of course, people are gonna die, but I'm surprised that you went out on such, like, a meh note, and that works for me really well. It's like when Top died, Anos died in season 2 and got, like, the fork in the throat, and it was like, again, that's violent, but he was a very dynamic and compelling character and was bringing in all sorts of chaos to the plot, and I thought was a really entertaining, like, again, a really well-acted character and just kind of an agent of chaos, so I was always like my eyes were drawn to him when he was on, I was always, like, invested with, like, what's Thanos gonna be up to? I thought he was
Mm.
much more of an interesting villain than some of, like, the older Fat Cat. guys that like made it to the end. They were also not that interesting to me.
No.
But but to have him just get like forked in the throat and be out in season 2, I'm not mad about it because again, like to me, that's where it's like the shocking surprises of like, oh shit, and you died in kind of such like a knucklehead, like a Joker way. And in this case, it was just such like a surprisingly like boring way. Like, yeah, it was just like, okay, you're dead. And then they basically, here's this person who's dedicated so much to them. And then we have the two other characters basically just be like, okay, we just got to like step over you and keep going because a lot's going on right now.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean, so her death reminded me of Allie's death in season 1.
Yes.
Same thing. Allie was like doing something kind of good and he trusted someone he shouldn't. I would also say Parquet Sue in season 1 was hands down the best villain that Squid Game could ever have. He was still that's to me, he was one of my favorite parts of Squid Game 1, and to me, that is something his type of character is something I was missing
Yeah.
in season 2 and 3.
Heesun versus like Ji Hyung. Come like I'm like he's so interesting.
Yeah, he had such a good character. He was like smart. He was a smart villain. Like that's the thing, these like as you said, these like fat cat villains of season 3, well first and season 2, they kind of all like ran together in my head
Yeah, it was just a
just
group of
because they were all
like
the
kind of
same.
greedy older men.
Yeah, they were kind of all the same, which I don't know, maybe that's saying something.
No, I think it is. I think it is. It's
Just
just
that
like it's
alone.
also less interesting, but it's definitely saying something.
Yeah. So I missed Hyunju when she died. I missed her in the following scenes. I did also love Gumja. Again, the like the granny character, or she was a mother, she wasn't a granny. Um, I thought I mean the whole thing where she had to kill her son. So essentially killing her son to
A mother.
save a mother was, and then how she, got down on her hands and knees. She no longer had the clip in her hair. I'm not sure there's like a Korean word for it. I don't remember what it is. Um, I just remember her like gray hair was down. She was just undone. And she begged them to stop the game and they just walk right past her.
Hmm.
And I would also say her death was the most shocking to me.
No, it was shocking to you. Okay.
I did not Goomja when so Junhee wakes up with a baby and you look over and Goomja had hanged herself. That was hands down that was probably the most shocking thing that happened in season 2 and 3 to me, maybe.
Oh, really? See, I didn't find that shocking. I found it terribly sad, but not surprising. I thought
I
she
don't know.
was going to kill herself as soon as she killed her son.
Well, I will say as soon as it happened, I was like, how did I not see that coming? Like I should have seen it coming, but I did not.
But I thought putting a mother in a position to kill her son to save what she's going to deem as like basically being like, I love you. You're also like, you put yourself into this situation. Like, because he came in to kill the woman who just had the baby. And she's basically like, don't do it. And he's like, I got to do it. Otherwise, like, because if you don't, it's the game of hide and go seek. If you don't kill someone in that game, they're going to kill you. And so we have, um, so he's player 7, Young Sik. His mom's Goomja, player 149. And then we have Junhee 222 with the baby. And don't worry, we're going to be talking about this fucking baby in a
Yeah,
second.
we're gonna get to the baby.
But, and so she makes a call like, like, I'm not killing you because you're a disappointment. You're my son and I love you. But also, like, if I've got to choose between like who deserves to keep going here, you're not the person. Like, she deserves the next chance, not you. And he kind of accepts it. Like, yeah, like, I mean, he's like, mom, like, it's just like, fuck. And I think again, this is what Squid Game does really well to me is like that sucks. That is a hard choice. That is complicated. That is something to sit and unpack. That is not like that's not on the nose and kind of being like force fed something. Like it's complicated and human and messy, and there's no good solution. Like the other good solution wouldn't be kill the pregnant like, or kill the woman who just had the baby. And like, neither choice was the correct choice. They were all bad choices. And so to see what you're gonna pick and then how you're gonna deal with the repercussions of it, horrible. And also, in my opinion, like part of what makes it still have elements of brilliance, because that sucks and hurts.
Where Squid Game, I think, has always shined is those situations, those choices, those humanistic choices, the nitty-gritty emotions of, like you said, like the mother making the choice, "I'm gonna kill my own son to save this mother." And I also think Squid Game has a way of never reveling in the goriness of the violence. It's not like a horror novel where you're like, "Ah," like, where you're kind of almost, like, in the, like, over the top violence, and you're sort of enjoying it, I guess, in a way, in a horror movie. That's never the way Squid Game has been for me, and I think that that's where it's always brilliant. Um, and so that choice to me was such a heart of this season. Um, and and then also Hyunju's decision to not to not, go to the exit, to come back and, like, save her women,
And there was
basically.
no doubt to me that Hyunjin would make a different choice. Like, I also really bought that there was almost no hesitation. And it was like, I just got to go back because, again, this character, she was so good, which meant she was doomed to die in this game because good people don't make it to the end in this game. If you're too good, you're going to die.
Yeah, and, I would say Myungi's character, I wish he wasn't played by MC1 because I love MC1 so much, and part of me kept hoping there was some sort of redemption in this character because I wanted MC1 to be able to have it.
But I think
Like, I
that made
love
it
him
better
so
because if
much.
he was just a baddie the whole time or like, kind of just like a fuck up baddie, I think MC1 was the perfect choice to play him
He was.
because I kept being like, are we going to get a redemption arc? Are we going to
No.
get a redemption arc? Are we going to get oh, he's dead.
Oh, he's dead. Instead, he's just a young, panicked man who's making terrible choice after terrible choice after terrible choice.
Are we going to talk about his death now or later? Do we talk about baby first or him first?
Let's talk about Baby, I
Okay.
guess. Or what do you think?
Yeah, let's get into the baby.
Okay. So it's funny because we had asked our Patreon members, "Hey, we're going to talk about Squid Game. What do you want us to discuss?" And of course, let's talk about the baby.
Let's talk about the ludicrousness of the baby. Although also, I'm not mad about the baby. I'm going to defend this baby.
Okay. Okay. I have a couple things about and based on what we talked about. So the thing with Squid Game is that I've always felt, despite the, like, craziness of the plot, the violence, the, like, ludicrous VIPs, the insane games, despite all of that, that is, like, a little unbelievable, um, the characters themselves are always believable. And there was always a stark realness to the characters. So that's the rules that for me were set up in season 1 and season 2. Was no matter what, you're going to give me real characters reacting to these insane situations. So then you give me this pregnant woman, which right away I was not I got to be honest, I was not thrilled that, like, a pregnant woman was introduced because I just don't like to, like, fuck with that. It's just, like, not my jam.
See, I liked it. I thought that was a good choice.
And I get where they went with it, and I'm gonna defend a little bit, like, the point of the baby. Um, I can get with, but the situation with the baby was so unbelievable that it took me out of it because I was like, you have given me so much realness in characters, and, like, now you're giving me this ludicrous situation where, first of all, we have no made how many weeks is she? Like, she's not that big, and then all of a sudden she breaks her ankle and and she's having the baby. Like, it's like, it happened so fast where she's like, "My water broke, the baby's coming now." Which, look, I'm not saying, like, I understand, like, childbirth is very individual, everyone has babies differently, do not get me wrong, but the way this childbirth was, and I've seen that the director was like, "I am sorry." Like, I know that that triggered a lot of people because it was so ridiculous, and yeah, it was. Because she's, like, having this baby, she's immediately standing, and I couldn't suspend my disbelief because of the rules that I think that this show gave me in the first place. I could not suspend my disbelief that this woman had not passed her placenta. She's gonna go into, like, toxic shock. Like, who's taking care of her in the see, I can't look past it based on how they're giving me how based on what they've set this drama up to be and the
It
realness of what happens to these characters.
it was when I watched it that I honestly was like, "Oh, right. A man made this." And now
Same,
I'm
of
taken
course.
out because, like, like, sometimes I'm just caught up in the story and I forget about, like, the aspects of what it means when, like, the man is the showrunner, and I was like, "Oh, right," because you just forgot, like, how women fucking work as, like, human
She would have been
beings.
she would have been actively bleeding for 10 days afterwards.
And
So,
so I think it was just, like, to me, that's the part that, like, I'm not defending is, like, it's not hard to just remember how women functionally work on a biological level
that's
and
my point.
incorporate that into the story because it's actually interesting and would have only helped the plot. No part of the baby plot. So I thought the baby plot was solid. I thought have a pregnant mom. That's another conflict of like moms killing sons. Now we have a pregnant woman who's like partners in the game as well, or ex baby her baby daddy's in the game. All that was like a yes for me. Some women don't show a lot. I wasn't even worried about
True.
that. I was like, "Okay, fine. She's 9 months
I
pregnant." I
know.
didn't realize it, but okay. Like, even that, I was like, "I don't give a shit." Like, she
Yeah.
didn't show a lot. She was further along than I was expecting, whatever. Maybe she went to birth 8 months in, good for her for keeping such a cute little bump going. It was everything after that that I was like, "You know what? Fuck this." Like, there it is. I didn't need to have, like, complete verisimilitude where I was like, "You didn't have to give me you didn't have to waste a ton of showtime giving me every aspect of, like, diapering, feeding." But, like, when they're bringing in the food, throw in a few diapers. Throw in just, like, give us a few cues along the way of, like, what's happening with the baby, just so I don't have to be taken out by being like, is the baby just, like, fully just, like, shitting in re-shitting? And, like, I needed a little bit of what's happening with the baby. I needed a little bit of, like, who knows how to once the mom we'll talk about her dying, but, like, the mom dies, once she's dead, and we just have, like, dudes with the baby, like, is anyone like, just give me something to show me that, like, anyone cares at all. Because otherwise the baby's the biggest plot moppet to ever mop. Like, the fucking mop it just to be the moralistic lesson learned is the fucking baby. It was like, give me the baby has to pull some weight. The baby can't just be there like, "I'm the baby. I
Mhm.
am the future of humanity and the hope of all, and that's my job is I'm like the hope that's at the end of Pandora's box for the rest of the show."
Yeah.
I was like, "You're boring. You're boring as a kid." And then we left with the two boring characters, the baby and him at the end. I was like, "Oh God." For me, I thought it was
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah. I will I will admit I needed aftercare for the mom. I'm sorry, I needed something there. All of a sudden she's just, like, standing, holding the baby, no one's checking on her, no one's giving her ice for her
I
underwear.
mean, if
Like,
she
I
was bleeding and
needed
hobbling around, I didn't need to have ice for the underwear even. I just needed to see she is we see a minute later where she passes the placenta as she's walking. I don't care if it was even a little exaggerated, just more to show it was hard. She didn't just lay down, spread open her legs, go, push a baby out, and then we just have like fucking moralistic baby on the scene, and she's just gonna like hobble around.
because that's what it seemed like, and I was like, "There's going to be so much stuff going on with her right now that I feel like could actually lend to the plot."
And, like,
Instead,
it
you
would have
gave her a
even made the
broken
murder
ankle.
of the son better. It would have made everything better to have her more, like, actively struggling
Yeah.
through postpartum, like, still just, like, weak, bleeding. I mean, it would have made it much more of a difficult choice to be like, "Do I kill this lady who's laying there looking like she's, like, now passing her placenta in the room, or my son?"
Yeah. And I guess I would have loved, again, I would have loved this, like, midnight scene with Goomja helping her to breastfeed. This, like, touching moment where Goomja's, like, passing down, like, motherly knowledge, and then Goomja's like, "Okay, that's it."
I did something. I gave some of
I
my intel on how to do
a
this, and I'm
and
out.
now I'm done, and I'm out. But I would have loved that, like, touching moment. I think it would have been beautiful. I think it would have felt feminist, and instead you just for me, yes, I was like, "A man wrote this, a man directed this. Why did no one talk to a single woman on set who's had a baby?" Or no one cared, but it bothered me. It just I don't need full I don't need full reality, but you gotta at least hint that,
No,
like, you
there needs
understand
to
how
be a hint
childbirth.
that it works because it's
Yeah,
respectful, and I feel like Squid Game was
agreed.
trying to get some of its, like, feminist laurels, and then, like, was just like, "But you didn't
And
even just
fumbled it.
you fumbled it on, like, a very easy pass." Like, this really would have taken another 90 seconds of action throughout the entire show, and it could have even been in the background, like I said, just, like, the diapering or just a few things to just show that, like, people are kind of trying to grapple with this baby. Otherwise, it is literally just a moppet to make a point, and I was bored with the baby.
Well, I mean, I think babies are boring. Anyway, I'm not a baby person, so I guess that was part of me
Well,
too. I'm like, "Yeah, now we're
the
gonna
baby,
just
I mean,
watch
but
this
it's like,
baby."
I would have found the baby to be so compelling to be like, "Oh my god, there's this baby," and, like, you're trying to introduce, like, all this stuff with, like, and then once so then we have the mom's ankles effed. They have to play a game where there's jump rope involved, and you're just like, "This is it for her." Like, she's not
Yeah,
gonna make it.
yeah.
And so, the time has come, the walrus said, like, mom's not making it over the thing. And mom has the baby. And so then it's like, okay, we have this moment that, again, here we're flirting with interest and complexity. And we have MC1 or Im Yoon Gi's character, player 333, and he's kind of there being like, fuck, this is still like this. I am the father of this child. Like, we had a relationship. Like, I can help you. And so, like, what do we like? I kind of want to help you. Like, he's not all bad. He's not just like, fuck you, I'm out. He's like, they're kind of being like, oh, I should do something. And she's like,
Yeah,
you are
he's like, "Help me."
a useless loser. You suck. Get away. I want
I
our
wanna
little
jump off the plat.
pal, player 456, Gihyun, to get back here. He's gonna be my baby daddy. And it didn't I liked it wasn't sexual. I liked that they had, like, no vibes. None of that was necessary. She was just like, "You are a survivor. You have the baby. This fucking loser, get him out of my face." And that felt so relatable. And then she was like, "Fuck it." And I was like, that feels very relatable in many ways. Because she's like, I don't want to get taken out on the dumb jump rope. I'm just
Yeah,
jumping. I got
yeah.
my baby as safe as I could get him. And
Mhm.
also, I made a bad choice getting involved with that dimwit.
Yeah. Oh, 333. He's a mess. Although I was like, "Girl, Gihan's not getting back over and then carrying you across." Like, in what world did you think that was gonna happen? I was a little like, "What was your plan here? Was your plan always to just jump off the platform?"
I felt like it was, didn't she? So he came back for, so she gets, remind me, he
She
comes
gives him
back.
the baby, he goes over, and then all of a sudden, obviously, everyone else wants to come over. So he has to wait for all of them. He doesn't have time to go back and get her and then come back across. It's like, yeah, he doesn't.
I mean,
Who thought he would?
I could see being like, look, it's a Hail Mary. If I can do it, I can do it. I don't think it was her plan all
True.
along. I think it was just
Yeah.
like, look, if I can do it, I can do it. I'm
If
hopeful.
not, there's always this drop straight down.
Yeah, and I think, you're making decisions on the spur of the moment. And you're just like, look, I'm not going to be able to jump. I'm not taking it out. All I know is
Yeah.
basically her death had to solidify a few things. One is there's a baby in play with Gi-hyun, a boring baby, the most boring baby to ever baby. Then we have the
He made a
baby,
promise to her.
yeah, he
That
made
was
a promise.
important
I'm gonna
because
keep,
he brought it up over and over again.
yeah, I'm gonna get this baby out. I'm gonna get born baby out. Born baby's job is to make me look better. Born baby's entire job is to make Glaine's Gishon's moralistic choices. Like literally, that's why the baby. That's also why
I
I'm like,
know.
it's like fuck, because I'm like, make the baby get to have its own little complexities too. Instead, it's just like here's a baby, and the baby's just this little halo that Gihon gets to wear. Like I might have strangled Dohei, but you know what? I'm sure saving this baby. And it was like, well, great, whatever. But I really did like what a final fuck you of a toxic relationship to be like, I don't even want your help.
No,
I'm
I'd
dead.
rather, I'd rather die. I'd rather die.
Literally rather die. And I was like, I respect that. I do. I
I mean,
respected it. It was, and that's the kind of stuff that sometimes to me, it's like it's goofy, but I'm like, good. Like I was entertained. I wasn't, I mean, it was sad, but also I had no problem like that whole storyline closed out when like with her death and like she passed the baby, ended life
pass
on
the
her
baton.
terms, and was like, and you know what? Like you are a scrub and no scrubs. Like left
Yeah,
with her dignity intact.
she did. She did. Um, well, speaking this kind of plays into it. Speaking of the baby, so how do we feel about the VIPs this season?
The VIPs to me, as much as I've complained about like the narrative boringness of Gihyun, the Halo baby plot Muppet, like both of those being fumbles to me, where we could have had this, if both of those had come together better, I think season 3 would have been so much more elevated.
Hmm.
Nowhere did this season crash and burn harder. No reason. Like I was sitting there trying to actually grapple with like, tell me why the VIPs are as banal, boring, cartoonish. I was like, at this point, we have full Squid Game money. Like, if you had given me this in season 1, I would have been like, fine, you're bootstrapping some baddies that are from the West and like whatever, whatever. At this point, I'm like, you have made too much money. This is too big of a juggernaut to screw up this bad on the VIPs. Here's the biggest, there's so much cool, crazy, shitty commentary. Like we're living in the age of like Trump and Musk and Putin, like just all these like global stage baddies of complexity and like nastiness. And like give me some of those archetypes put there that you're just like, oh God, like I see these people out and about and like fuck these guys. And instead it's like death again. I'll
Yeah, like
drink to
first of all,
that.
tell me who these people are. Like for real. Like give me an idea of who these VIPs are at this point. Now's the time to tell me. Like give me at least like a tiny bit of information about them so that we like can see who they are, where they come from, how much money they
Like,
have.
is this the Don Jr. pool of Nepo baby losers, or are
Yeah, like
these like the
where
titans of industry?
that's it. Like who are the yeah, are these like trust fund babies that just like don't know what to do with their money? Or are these people running like are they healthcare CEOs?
Yes. I was like, all of this, like, give me something interesting here because why? And we spent so much time with them for them to suck so bad.
And so much time. A ridiculous amount of time. And all their conversations were just like, let's let the baby play. And it just felt okay. If you are giving us them, if you are for us to view the VIPs as caricatures, I actually don't want that. Because you're telling us that those are real people. The people at the top right now who are screwing like over the little man, those are real people. Those aren't caricatures. So don't give me that they're caricatures in what you're trying to present to me as like a criticism of society. Like give me people.
You
Give me
could have
real
done it
people, not
so on the
caricatures.
nose and done it so
I
much
know.
better. Like, you
I
could
would
have
have loved
had
it.
like a man or a woman like sitting up there being like, and let the baby play. And then it's like, boop, 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 boop. And then like they're getting a call and you realize it's like their kid calling to be like, good night, mommy, or good night, daddy. You know, like you could have been on the nose bullshitting me like that. And you would have still been slam dunking it because I would have been like, yes, it's heavy handed. Yes, it's on the nose. And look, a little bit of moral complexity, a little bit of something other than just like this cartoonish evilness that was such a joke that I could like. And I was like, at one point, I was like, am I missing like kind of like the satiristic point of it? And I honestly, if that was what the intention was, and I think it had to have been, it was still such a fail.
Yeah. I too much VIPs. They were terrible.
I would have
Their
taken
voices were
all the
just
VIP time if you'd given me anything to work with except for sheer stupidity.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I you made me, like, love these characters that you're killing off, which, that is Squid Game, so okay, but that's what I want to see more of. I want to see the dynamics of the people, the contestants. I don't know, I hate calling them
I
contestants,
like
but
calling it. It's
that's
fine.
is that
Players,
okay? Alright, it's like
contestants, sure.
the players, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I just wanted more of that. There was way too many VIP scenes, and then also it was a weird contrast with the front man, which we're gonna get to, because the front man's a full realized character. So you have them playing off him, and it didn't work
Well, the other
because
problem
we
is
knew
that they were
him.
terrible. And so, like,
Well, yeah,
beyond the
they
fact
were
that they were bad characters, they were badly acted. And that's where I was like, is the buffoonery meant to be like part of it too? Because again, if it was season one, like we sometimes see Western characters presented in K dramas and they're not very well executed, but you're also like, look, they just need to get through like the Western little blip of something. Like, like you'll have like the Western characters come in for like a land deal or something, and
it's
they're
like a
like,
bit part.
it's a bit
I don't really
part.
care.
They are badly acted, and you're just kind of like, look, okay, fine. Like I could live my life. I'm not going to be stressed about it. But in this case, again, we've got that Squid Game season 3 good money. Like they threw a parade in the. We talk about it in the podcast I do with On about like the Squid Game. She went to the Squid Game parade. They had a parade through the CBD. Like this is a big funded giant project to be like, let's just not worry at all about like the quality of performance. When you're gonna tell me that we have like Im Si Won, Kong Ha Nul, Lee Hyung Bin, like all these people, Gong Yu acting their brains out, and
I
then we have
know.
to deal with that. Like it was like kind of just like what? It was like too disconnecting and stupid.
Is
And
Ibon Kelly like he has to be like, what? Who are these
and then
people?
they're making him play out. Like I was also just like mad for. I was like, why does he have to play off them?
Same. I was like, stop it.
Get him out of there. Rescue
Yeah.
him.
Don't make him do this. Don't make him sit with these people. He
And
doesn't belong there.
he doesn't belong there. What murder?
What
he
mud?
he didn't belong there at all. And I just was like, and they should have been like those scenes needed to be there. We needed to have that unpacked. And the fact we didn't get it baffles me. The fact that we didn't have anything to say about the people pulling the strings who were interested, talking about any elements of them at all was such a waste that it actually staggers me. And as much as I'm going to even hate on the Hope Baby later, I hated the VIPs the most. The VIPs, I hate it.
Yeah, I did. I hated the VIPs. And I remember thinking in season 2, all right, like let's get the VIPs in here because I
Yeah,
remember being excited because I was like, they got big money now. Okay, Squid Game's got big money, a big budget. What are they going to do with the VIPs? And if anything, it's worse because they've spent more time.
so much worse.
It was
Say
worse.
less. I mean, if you were gonna, if they had just made them not speak beyond like three, like one, like, oh, what about the baby? And then just sit there with their creepy masks, I would have been like, okay, weird missed opportunity. But in this case, I was like, you gave me all this time with them and gave me nothing of interest. It's just like all you did was annoy me and make me feel bad for Lee Byung-hun.
Yeah. I really did feel bad for him. I was like, he doesn't deserve
I'm
this.
like, you don't put tomahawk steak, like, Hanwoo beef, and then like bring it down to put it at McDonald's.
Wagyu beef with like a McDonald's a McDonald's quarter
Yeah, I'm
pounder.
like
I
an
know. I
actor
feel
of
so
his
bad.
generation.
The VIPs are gonna. I hope they never. They don't know who we
Look,
are.
here's the thing too. Is I feel like they were told to. I don't think that they woke up and were like, "That's what I'm going to do." I think they were told to play it like that.
Totally. Oh, totally. And I also think like you didn't give them anything to work with.
You
Like
gave them
again, you
nothing
didn't
to work
give them
with,
a
and I
backstory. You gave them a terrible script. You had them say stupid stuff
yeah.
that was like just
So if a
redundant too.
VIP is listening to it, I'm not coming for you either.
No.
I think you just showed up. You got your paycheck, but you did what you were meant to do, which was to read bad lines and offer nothing to the plot. That's not your fault. You're
Yeah.
just you're an actor.
We we really got to send Amy over to Korea and have her act and stuff. Like really, she would be great.
For her in, she could have said, yeah. Anyway, I thought we were gonna. Again, I thought we were gonna have a lot more to unpack between Gi-hyun and Inho. I was okay satisfied with what we were given. In the grand context of things that I'm dissatisfied about in season 3,
Yeah.
their relationship is not in my like I've already given my top 3 shit list. They're not in my top 3 shit list. I think it could have been more. I think it could have been more. I was expecting deeper. I was expecting more interesting. I was expecting more of a frank conversation at some point. I was expecting more kind of like cat and mouse or face to face time.
Yeah.
And they were really kept I was very, very surprised how much they were kept separate for the rest of the game.
Yeah, because they had such that's why season 2 was so good. They had such amazing chemistry with each other. I thought
Yeah.
Gihan and and I also think the whole scene where Inho basically gives him a knife and says, "Go kill these. You kill these guys in their sleep, you save the baby, you save everyone you love, you go home free." And I think and then of course you have the scene where Gihun, as we said, decides not to do it. He like all of a sudden has a moral epiphany. And again, it would have hit so much better if he hadn't have strangled Daeho 2 days ago.
Yeah,
You know,
because at that point I thought we were meant to be like, Gihan, you're so good. You're not like mean old Inho up there who made his bad choices. I was like, honestly, Team Inho. Like, I don't
yeah.
think I would have wanted to be the front man. Like, I don't think I would have liked to have, gone down the rabbit hole of bringing the misery to the world like he did. But I also
Uh-huh.
never even understood fully why he went on that journey. And I thought we were going to get that too. Like, I get why he would have won the game being ruthless. This is a
Mhm.
ruthless game. He played
Yeah.
the game. Like, I'm not going to, what murder? He was fine. He did what he needed to do. But, like, now give me the unraveling of what took him from winning that game to becoming the front man. Like, I
Yeah,
wanna know that journey. Why didn't we
I
get
did
that
think
unpacked?
I thought we were gonna get that too. And that would have been really freaking cool
I'm
because he was one
shocked.
of the most yeah, he was one of the most interesting characters to me.
I am shocked we didn't get that more. I mean, we got, like, some of, like, the, like, old man from season 1 who, founded the game or whatever, kinda being like, "Oh," like, nattering around, like, his voice, and then, we saw, like, a little tiny bit of, like, his file to, like, know he had been, like, player 1. And I needed to care about his relationship with his brother 50,000 times more, and I like the fact we didn't get flashbacks, like, all we got was Wee Ha-joon on the boat, look, a very attractive man.
We had June, oh god,
But
that
really he
entire
did
plot.
and we all
Oh,
know, he did nothing. It was, like, the most useless like, he's just booping around with, like, the baddie captain, who's also a former winner, and I was like, "What's this pipeline between winning the game and then going to work for the corporation?"
crazy plot
Like,
line.
let me know. I'm like, I don't hate it, but I wanna know
Mm,
why.
yeah. Yeah, and so, I mean, we had June, oh god. I mean, God love him. I mean, he is the reason I think they ended up having to blow up the island, but well, actually, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that closer to the end because I have some thoughts on, like, the final end, and I'm sure you do too.
Well, I mean, we had, like,
Um,
so many ends, it just kept ending over and over.
it did kind of, it was weird. I do wanna read some comments from Squid Game writer and director Hwang Dong-hyuk because I thought he had some interesting things to
Yeah,
say,
because
and
as
I
much as
wanna
I'm
know.
bitching about this I'm still gonna say at the end of the day, I liked it. And so,
I did too, and I'm also bitching because I like it and I saw that there was even more potential.
yeah, I liked it, and I
So I'm
wanted
not
to love it to the point that I was, like, slamming my hand on the table being like, "Yes, yes, yes."
yeah, I think if I didn't like it, I'd be laughing, like, and saying it went to Argon, but, like, I liked it, but I wanted more because I care so much about kind of like the overall message that this drama has always been giving
And
us,
the
right?
places
I
that
mean,
went sideways were just like such pointless places to go sideways where like just any other thing would have like there were so many choices. So every time it went sideways, it was almost like and that's why I kept being like, am I the problem? Am I missing the grand intention here?
right. Well, so this is what Hwang Dong-hyuk said to the LA Times. Uh, he loudly calls out the flaw of democracy that allows the barest of majorities to subject all to nightmarish
I
policies.
love
I mean,
this.
is that not on the no? Like, that's what I'm saying. This guy like knows what he wants to say and he
Yeah,
says
like
it.
having
Anyway,
everyone do their quote unquote democratic voting and
yeah,
being like, no, this is fair and free elections. And that to me, chef's kiss. Yes.
yeah. And he says even more nightmarish for those who voted against them. The ruthless winners keep reminding the others in season 3 that it was a fair
Mhm.
and democratic vote. Quote, this is, and he goes on, that is not to say that I have a different answer. I wanted to raise the question because I believe it is time for us to try to find the answer. In season, I thought this was a cool thing. In season 1, I looked at the flaws of the economic system that creates so many losers due to its unlimited competition. In season 2, I depicted the failure of the political system. Coming into season 3, because the economic system has failed us, politics have failed us, it seems like we have no hope. So, what hope do we have as a human race when we can no longer control our own greed? I wanted to explore that. And in particular, I wanted to pose that question to myself. And I really, as a writer, as a creator, I love that last line because he's like, I don't have the answer. I'm writing this because I want you to think about it and I want to think about it. And I thought it was really when I read this, I was like, bingo, dude. And and if by the way, like I know we've been bitching a little bit about some of the choices, but those are kind of like individual bitching, like individual individual
So
choice bitching.
concept
But
wise,
overall,
concept wise, I'm gonna say season one, yes, on the flaws of the economic system. Yes, like they it was a successful execution. And in season 2, I do think that the failure of the political system and because we really did focus more I think on those elections or how they would vote and I felt like they spent more time with that and kind of like the maneuvering of like if we can just convince like if we can just do this and then you just have this like slight edge means that everyone's going to die. Literally one more vote on the other side mean you all like what's fair, what's democratic about like what is this? And all of that is exactly why I will never be like, meh, Squid Game, because this is good. This is important. Like I think it worked.
I
And
think it did too.
then season 3, when we say, okay, we have failed economic systems, failed political systems, we have no hope. And then we go to the Pandora's box, and what's at the bottom of Pandora's box in the mythology is, that's where hope is, and we get to have fucking baby hope.
Baby.
And that was that had potential and didn't work to me. It fumbled. It ended up being like, okay, sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say that there were moments though. I didn't love the baby, but obviously I'm on record. I
I think
didn't
the
love the
baby
baby.
should have been. I think the baby worked. We just got the most boring iteration of what that baby was
Okay,
to me.
yeah,
And like Gihyun at the end with the baby, honestly, I know that why we had to have Gihyun at the end with the baby. I get why it had to be Gihyun because, like, again, he was the through line. I would not have been mad if we did not have Gihyun at the end with the baby and we had another character with the baby and Gihyun went
yeah,
down before that. I wouldn't have been
yeah.
mad about that at all.
I would have been fine with it. I think they weren't quite sure probably what to do, and they were
They
like, "This
wanted to
makes
have
sense."
this noble we had set Gihyun on a course of nobility with the plot moppet baby, where he wasn't gonna be like the other guys. He wasn't gonna be like the front man. He was different. He wasn't gonna murder people in their sleep. And then he was gonna get to the end of the game with the fucking baby, and he was gonna be like, me or the baby, we are not horses. We are humans. I'm dying. And that to me is not powerful. That was how Squid Game needed to have something where it was like speaking humanity to power, even in the futility of it all, and even at your moment of death, to be like, you still can't take. I mean, that's like a fundamental of like all like big stories like this. Like, you're not gonna take that from me. You can take everything else from me. But it's like Braveheart and Gladiator, like so many stories where it's like at the end, you can take everything from me, including my life, but in the end you didn't take my dignity and my moral good.
But I think
I
he had
mean,
already sort of
I'm like,
lost
oh
that.
really?
But then I don't know, did I want him to remain perfect the whole time?
No, I
So I
really
so I
didn't, but I
I
needed to see
waver.
him grappling more because to me, I think where I really fell out with Gi-hyun was when the front man gives him the knife and does like the pick, and then Gi-hyun's a fucking pick me and is like, I'm not like the other girls. I'm not gonna murder the baddies and just get out of here with the baby, and even possibly the baby's daddy, who could maybe have some good left in him. In the end, he's like, I'm not gonna do that at all. I'm like, I thought, and I know there's going to be listeners who are going to push back on that and be like, no, he had to not do that. I found it to just be playing it so safe and so boring that that ended up being the thing. Like, at the end of the day, I don't actually think that makes you a better human to be like, let me make a dumb choice strategically in the game. I don't want to kill anyone else. I'm like, you've already been fucking, you've killed the whole time. You've been killing since like you've been complicit in a murder system. And now at the very end, when there's some people who like, if they die, these guys that we truly don't care about, who have nothing redeeming. Like if it was Granny laying there, I'd be like, okay, like we have some like moral quandaries. That's the worst apples in the bucket, like the people who've just been like lying, thieving, backstabbing cunts, honestly. And we're like, now's the moment to be like, I shall not give up. I shall not murder them in their sleep. I will push them off towers as nature intended. I was like, I don't know. I think I would have been more interested if there had been some murder and then there'd been some game. I understand why. I mean, like at the end of the day, I get it. I get it. He is not the front man. I don't think it made him better than the front man or the front man worse. You know, it was the choices they made after the murder in the bed. Like the murder in the bed was like the least interesting of the choices. You know, the front man deciding to then join squidgame.com or whatever, you know, the corporation. That was an interesting journey. I wanted to hear about that. I don't care. Like, killed some people. I wasn't like, oh my God, he didn't. I'm like, yes, he fucking did. He killed so many people. I didn't care that he killed some random people to win the game. That's how you play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I again, it's same. I sort of the whole, like, moral, um, question at the end felt lost on me just because I never had held Gi-hun up to any sort of standard that way, and so to see him just, like, try to remain as the, like, lasting good one was rough on me, was rough
No,
on
the
me. I
last
didn't.
good
Yeah.
one got killed, getting stabbed in the back when they were rescued. Like, that was the good one.
Hyunju was the good one.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Hyunju at the end.
I know why I'm mad right now. I've unpacked why I'm mad.
Okay.
Because I think that the showrunner is raised a good point, which is what do we do at a time? Because we are in these times. We're in times of horror, of seeing baddies pulling strings, of us needing to like speak truth to power, of being like there's times where we're gonna have to make like potentially like difficult, morally complicit, like morally gray choices to like move through, but like maybe become like almost like anti-heroic or Robin Hoodie, or you may have to like bend or break some rules in order to like do greater good stuff. And at the end of the day, you're telling me that when it comes down to it, like when we ask the question into the void of like, what do we do in these times where our economic systems are failing us, our politics are failing us? You're telling me that when I'm standing there next to some fucking baddie who, and I'm not saying it like in literary like literal terms, but you know, like like when we're pushed up against some sort of like thing that we know ultimately wants to hurt us, the answer that I'm giving back is meant to be just keep taking like, am I the fucking Democratic Party? I'm just gonna keep
Right.
taking the high road and being
Like,
like,
keep taking it on the chin, keep taking
yeah,
it on the chin. When again, metaphorically, you have people, well, not in the show, they already said they're gonna kill the baby the next day.
yes.
Like, that is like,
They're like,
so
the
you're
game plan
saying,
is
like,
we are going to kill you and the baby. And I'm like, well, but I can't do it back to you because I'm a good person. I'm like, okay, that's the void. That's what I yell into the void. That's what the void's yelling back to me. And then
yeah, and
saying,
the governments are like, "We are going to rip children from their families and whatever."
yes,
And and we're just like, "Well, we'll take the moral high road and still play by the
yeah,
rules,
we're
and
not
we're
going to
not gonna."
push back. We're not going to fight back. We're going to we're going to just get in and figure out a way tomorrow to try to get out of here, all of us with our dignity intact. And then at the end of the day, what I'm going to be like, I'm left with like the next generation. Like here we have, again, on the nose, but like poignant, we have the passing of the baton to the next generation. We have like the innocent, untouched who have not participated in like the ills of the world to be at this point. They just happen to be there and they can be a new way forward. And we're just like, it's just like this like cheap pawn, and then we all just like jump, then we all just like protect it. And then what did we even protect it for? I guess that was the ultimate thing. What did we protect it for? So the front man could come scoop it up, be like, I don't know what to do with this fucking baby. I guess I'll give it to my brother. He's a nice enough guy. The end.
Giving
And then like so
and
we had June.
dropping.
We had June is the hope, like hope of humanity. The hope baby gets passed to the pretty good guy who gets 35 million plus US dollars. And that's what the void yelled back to me as like that was the I was like, no, there's no like I want to grapple. Like, don't what the fuck was that?
Well, it's kinda like, I guess I'm kind of like, if I'm being pressed against the wall, I don't wanna take it on the chin, I don't wanna take a moral high road, I wanna be the one with a knife pressing it to the throat of the
Yeah,
person.
I want Robin Hood and
Again,
back.
like, figuratively, like, no, I wanna put pressure. I wanna put pressure, I don't wanna constantly take the moral high road, and
And I can
I don't
see
know, it's
sacrificing. I even understand, like, yes, of course, Gihan sacrificing himself for the baby. Of course, like that makes narrative sense. It is good. I would hope that if push came to shove, I would make similar choices. But then I would look back and be like, well, what did that baby, what then? And I'm like, nothing, a bunch of bullshit. The
yeah,
system,
and
the system was just like, well, shit. I guess we're not going to leave the baby there. The baby technically won the game. We got to give it money, and now it needs a family, and so we'll just give it to this random dude who, like, I guess is okay. I actually thought we were gonna have like Inho like raising the baby as like I thought that even was gonna be an interesting commentary. It was like now it's like him with this like little mini sidekick, and I was like, ooh, that would have been fucking dark, right? Like Ji
yeah, yeah,
Hyung throws himself into the void to save the baby, and then the
and then the
darkness is
baby,
there, and the darkness just is like and like gloms the baby in. I would have been like, fuck, that's dark, and like
yeah,
what now? Instead, it was
yeah.
just like this like hackneyed baby hope thing, and I don't like that part.
Baby hope.
And for him to be like, we're not horses, we're humans. I'm like, yes, 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 queen, say your thing. Yes, sacrifice yourself. But at the end of the day, it was like, did I guess you went out with like your sense of dignity, but in like, and that's the other thing. I was like, did anyone else really functionally benefit from whatever that was? I mean, the baby certainly did, but the baby just became like, I was just like, I don't.
Yeah. You coulda saved the mom, you coulda, well, it coulda saved so many I forget actually what point he had the knife. Was the mom still alive
Well, the mom
from
wasn't
June
alive,
B?
but the
Okay, so it was just the
and
baby.
there was like, like one or two other kind of like, there was like the other guy who was like
Okay, yeah, yeah,
nice
yeah.
enough
So he
guy
could have
who like
saved
had
some
choked at
people.
one point and like let his friend die because he had choked. I mean,
Oh,
he and the baby could have gotten out at the very least, and he could have gone and been like a good dad.
yeah. Well, okay, so what do you think about Myunggi's death? Because you want to MC1.
I
What do
thought it was very muddled because we got down to them, and I thought that was an interesting final three again. I was like, okay,
I was kind of excited about
we're
it.
down to Gihyun, we're down to Baby Daddy, and we're down to Hope Baby. And I was like, Hope Baby's 10 out of 10. Hope Baby's getting through this.
Same. I was like, they're not. At this point, I was pretty confident that Squid Game was not going to kill a baby. So
I was
Because it was
kind of hoping they were gonna kill the baby. Not really, but I was just, like, so convinced they weren't gonna kill the baby that I didn't even have, like, stress about the baby. I guess I wanted to
yeah.
feel more existential dread about the baby, and I was like, "Baby's totally living." And that was
Yeah,
why the
they're not gonna
minute
kill the
that you
baby.
have, like, Gi-hyun on the thing with the baby, I'm like, "Yeah, well, Gi-hyun's, like, bouncing in, like, 5 seconds." But in C1, when he was like, "I'm gonna play the game," and all of a sudden, like, be like, "It's just gonna be me and the baby," I was like, "So are you gonna fuck," like, I was like, "Oh shit, man, are we gonna get baby daddy, who's morally gray as fuck, and the baby on the final thing? Like, are we
See,
really
I
gonna."
would've loved that. I
And
would've
I was like, I
loved
started to get so hyped. I was like, this is going to be crazy. And what are we going to
yeah,
do here? And I think he
yeah,
is going to try to kill the baby. And I think now crazy shit's going to happen because he's going to be like tempted to kill the baby. They're not going to kill the baby and shit's going to go down. And I was like, all of a sudden, like, oh my God, this just got so much more exciting than I thought it was going to get. And like big
right,
things are going to start happening.
right.
And then it was like, no.
Squid Game did what it did. See, I think that's my thing. I thought season 3 was gonna kinda go off the rails in a good way, and it never really went off the
I
rails.
just wanted
It
to,
kind
I
of
think
still
I
sort
wanted
of
it
played
to
it safe.
ask and grapple with these big questions that I just felt like it kind of played to where I was like, I don't feel like I am interested in what you had to say. Like what you were asking, the answers that got back to me, I was like, meh.
Well, I think those answers I think the questions that they were asking in season 3, they've kind of already asked, and we've already kind of talked about, and so I feel like it didn't necessarily bring anything new, but it could've. It could've gone really, really different, obviously, but I just mean I kinda just didn't want the games with a final winner. I mean, maybe inevitably, though, that's the way it had to be,
I thought we were
but
gonna
that's
do
kind of what
something with
I
the game that was gonna become like the game. Like here we are, we're doing the games, we're moving towards the end with the final winner. We're getting to where we're gonna have like I even thought we might have like Gi-hyun on a tower, then we're gonna have like baby daddy and baby on like the final tower, and then we're gonna have a moment where it's like gonna be like the game within a game. I thought we were gonna start to just get like kind of like meta crazy of like what's the game within the game, like what like everything's a game. You then we've got like the VIPs who think they're pulling the strings, but they're actually part of the game too. Because in reality, like what is the chess piece? Who is pulling the? I just was like, oh my god, this is all going to come together and be so crazy. And then I was like, no, it's not. Like, there's
no, it's
nothing
not.
here.
Yeah, it ended with such a I mean, yeah, it ended kind of with a whimper.
And so, okay, baby daddy gets hosed. So whatever. We never get to grapple. Do you think he would have thrown the baby off the thing? I think he would have killed the baby.
I think he had lost his mind at that point.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
truly
I think
believe
he would
he
have
had
killed the
lost it.
baby. So I mean, like,
I think he would've.
um, but here's where again I'm gonna say that we have Gihyun. So we have baby daddy die. We have
Mhm.
Gihyun die. We have Hope baby laying there, as a beacon of the future on the piling. And then we have the front man has to like go get the fucking baby. He's like, okay, the rules of the game are that's the winner. I'm gonna go get the winner. So he goes and gets the baby. And then we had June finally, after so long, he's he's finally there again. He shoots out the glass
It's so
to
great.
be like,
He just
Hyun,
he just
my bro. Like we've seen
yeah,
nothing
Hyun.
normative about their relationship ever to give like two shit. Like the amount of time you could have given me like little bit of exposition and backstory on their relationship as he sailed around the ocean. Just
Nothing.
anything.
Also, Inho was like, "Kill my brother." Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I
He told the
mean, he
captain, he was like,
loved his brother to some degree, and that was shown at the end when he was like, "I guess my brother gets the winning baby." After 6 months, I was just like, "What did the baby do for like the six?" Because it was like 6 months later the baby showed up. That's what I was like, "What was Eva doing running around with the baby for 6 months?" But
"Did you get this baby checked out? Has the baby had its
I want the
vaccinations?" Like, let's
outtakes of like
talk.
that buddy show, that buddy cop show.
And him flying to America with the baby. Where is? Oh no, he didn't. I'm sorry.
He
The
didn't.
baby
He
stayed in
dropped it
Korea.
off in
Right. But either way, him just traveling, him picking out a car seat. the front man picking out a
I
car
wanted the
seat,
whole
I want it.
yeah, I want a whole little, like, season 3.5, like, the Christmas episode with him and the baby.
Christmas Christmas
But
episode,
anyway,
like,
so
in
he
Holland
goes, he
Baby.
scoops up the baby. We had June,
Yeah.
shoots out the VIP windows, and we like, the VIPs had to do nothing, and I didn't need them to have comeuppance. They could have won the day, but there was no grappling, so we just see, like, them, like, zipping away in their little helicopters as, like, the island's gonna blow up. And then shoots out the window, he sees his brother, is like, "Kyung, blah, 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 what are we gonna do?" And then, like, okay, like, there's nothing, like, there's no grappling with that at all. It was just like, okay,
Of
a
staring, a
lot
lot
of
of
staring. And I
staring,
mean, even Young
silent
stares
staring.
great. They both are
Yeah,
good stares,
very good, very good,
but
very good. Yes.
nothing.
It was a weird.
I was just like, and I didn't need it wrapped up in a bow. I just was like, you have milked my udders all the way here. You are asking the big questions. Even here, like, what?
Right. And then we had June's just, like, floating in the ocean watching the island blow up, watching the island blow up, and I remember thinking that was, like, the least exciting explosion I've ever seen in my life, because I thought I'd be excited
Mm.
to see the island blow up, but then you see, like, the island isn't Squid Game. The island doesn't fucking matter. It's the people. It's the front man. Like, and so you see them, they're all still okay. The front man's alive, and I'm just like, well then, like, nothing. Well, and I think I do think that's part of the point, is that he wants you to believe that, like, the systems are gonna survive.
And as we do see, ultimately,
Yeah,
and that's
and
fine, and I don't mind any of that either. I actually prefer that the system is so entrenched and insidious that there can be an element of just like, "I don't know, like, this is so bad, and, like, it's still gonna continue, and I feel dread because of it," but I don't know. Yeah, I just the way it executed with the brothers, again, here was a way to ask questions, even ask questions that don't have answers, and have that be the moment where, we had James just like, I am looking for logic here of like, what the fuck has happened? And I want the void. I mean, the void has to give something back.
mhm, mhm.
And I don't feel like the void gave anything very adequate back. I do want to bring up one last thing because we haven't touched on this person at all before we go into like the very, very end, which is our
Noel,
yeah, Noel, our bae from North Korea, the guard.
love her, love her. She actually, her and Hyunju, can they just be can they just go live together somewhere? Because they were, I I mean, okay, did Noel kill people? Absolutely. I still
What
really like her.
murder for Noel too?
What murder?
And
Yeah,
that's
for her
another
too.
thing. Like here we have Gi Hyun. Okay, okay. Again, this is making my statement. Gi Hyun, we're holding up to this like standard of like he didn't stab the bad guys who are going to kill the baby in the neck. Good guy. Noel's out there fucking doing what needs to be done. She's killing people.
She's getting it done,
She's like,
and I will tell you,
this little cancer kid's dad's here. Not on my watch. This cancer kid's dad's getting the fuck out, and I'm taking out everyone with me. And I was like, yes, girl, yes. Morally gray. It is. You don't want it. Murder's not good. Take them all out and get that guy out of here. Like, good for
when
you.
she opened up the elevator, grabbed the gun, and turned around and shot that guy, it was very hot.
I loved it so much.
She was, I know, like, injected in my veins, honestly. I wanted her to find the baby and take the baby. That's what I want. That's what I, because remember, she had the gun to her throat, and she was gonna pull the trigger, and then she hears the baby cry, and I was like, "Yes, go get that baby!" And then she doesn't get the baby.
She at least would know what to do with the baby. I would have felt reassured that the baby had like some normative
Yeah,
care.
so if you get to Wee Ha Jun, this, like, cop guy who can't find a fucking island, I mean, I don't know.
He just
I don't
isn't
know,
a
but yeah,
horrible human, so I guess he can raise a child.
yeah, I mean, I do think morally, the Wee Ha Jun's character was great, but her character was so good, and I know there's a lot of talk about the ending for her character. Look, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know what they're
So
trying to
that's what I wanted to
say.
say. For me, I had that left me really unsettled with like are we gonna see like, are we setting that up to be also part of the sequel? Because that was so unfinished to me. I felt like it seemed very sinister.
Yeah, and I was like, "Why are we doing that to her?" Because she was, like, the baddie of season 3, and now you're, like, giving us this weird, ambiguous, kind of, you know, like, ominous ending for her,
I
and I was
don't
like,
mind if it's
"Why?"
ominous if we're gonna, like, get into it, like, if well, I we're gonna talk about
Right.
the next season that's coming with Squid
Yeah.
Game. So, for me but if that's where they leave her story, I'm baffled that that would be the choice.
Yeah, me too. Because she was so also so beloved, like, I mean, maybe we should talk about what they're doing to the women in the series. I mean, maybe that's a whole nother pod to unpack because it does seem like, what are we doing to them? God,
I mean, we have
I don't know.
moms noble murdering themselves after killing their son, and we've got the yeah, no, I mean, they're yes, what are we doing to women in Squid Game is not the it's not the best. It's not
It's
the
not
best,
the
and also
best.
even, like, the little girl at the end, Gi-hyun's daughter, like, living in LA, frontman comes and is like she's like, "Yeah, my deadbeat dad, fuck that guy," and then he's like,
Yeah.
"Think again." Like, he doesn't say that, but essentially that's what happens, it's like, "Think again," opens up the box, and then you're like, "Oh shit, that kid's about that little spoiled brat who hates her deadbeat dad's about to be
Yeah.
who knows what, like,
Right.
$40 million richer."
Right. And then, he's driving in LA and he turns and he sees Kate Blanchett playing, the game
Chucky, yeah,
Ducky
and
with
then doing
some
slaps, and
guy.
she looks great, she is great, I
Looks
love
great.
Kate Blanchett, she's a
Me too.
fucking baddie, she's like the like, if you were gonna be like, "Okay, who's Gung Yu's heir?" It's Kate Blanchett.
Great
I
choice,
am
but I don't want it.
I am conflicted because I feel like everyone would assume I don't want it at all. I don't know because when I think so, I can think of almost not like, when I heard Train to Busan was gonna be redone in America, and I don't know if that's like a dead project now or what. I was like, that is ludicrous.
Mm.
And there's very, very few things that I'm like, no, no, bring it here, make it American. Like I'm like, you know what? It was great in the place it was made. It's giving commentary. Like, let's keep it there. The only thing about Squid Game though is that like it is so it's such a fucking messy drama of so many things, and we are Squid Game in so many ways. Like, I understand where Squid Game was fitting into, like, the Korean conversation, and I respect it. I'm not coming out I'm grappling and talking into the void.
No, you're actually making me come around a little bit because my first thought is absolutely not, "Oh my god, I don't want it. I hate it. I hate it."
At face value, I feel exactly the same.
Right, right. But if they can Americanize it, like I'm talking, this is the thing. I don't want them to do a Korean, like I don't want them to do a US version of the Korean show.
No.
I think if you can make it very American,
And be a
the
critique where
message,
we are talking I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I
yes.
don't wanna necessarily squander the moment when this country needs to be doing 1,000 times more grappling than I feel like it is, and here's a vehicle that kind of package these conversations in a way that you might get people from a cross section of lives to come together and look and be like, collectively, should we be talking about our voting processes being very fucked? And how other places have like ranked choice vote. I mean, like, I'm like, can we put in question marks into people's brains? I don't hate that.
No, but do I think do I think America will do that? No. I think America will sensationalize it. It's going to be all about the games, all about the killing, and there's going to be not as much social commentary. That is what I think America would do to it, and that is what I don't want. If you take away the essence of Squid Game and just make it a bunch of games with people killing each other, I don't want it. I don't want it at
So
all.
here's my
It's
one
gonna be
thing
it's
that I'm
gonna
gonna
be like Hostel, or it's gonna be like a horror movie.
it's just when I saw Kate Blanchett, I had a flash of hope,
True, because she's great. True, true. I'm just,
but I don't
do
know
you
how
understand
bad
what I'm
she needs
saying
a
though?
paycheck either.
Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand
No,
what I'm saying
I
though?
totally
If they
understand what you're
take,
saying. And so for me, the only way that it's going to be something that I think so yeah, I guess at face value, based on everything you said, I'm prepared to be like, this is a bad idea. I don't want it. And I can see a path forward where I'm like, this is actually a subversive, useful framework but it has to be there has to be that social commentary thread wove right through it. And I'm not I am I don't know how I'm still an optimist after some of the bullshit in season 3, but I have enough optimism, and I don't know enough to be like, who's the showrunners in this? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, I mean, I would say though, like season 3 was still a scathing commentary on on democracy. It was. I mean, they actually verbalize it when they have this terrible vote, like this vote that like makes no sense because it's just, of course, it's just these guys voting in their own self interest, and it's what and teaming up together to on Gi Hyun, and they're like, but this is a
This is
democratic
a but
vote.
yeah, we're just voting. Yeah,
How can you how can you argue with it? And I remember I was like, well, that wasn't subtle. So I mean, I still think season 3 had a lot to say, and I think it said it well. But
yeah. So for me, where I land on it is like I give it like a B minus season 3, and I wanted to give it an A plus plus plus. And so that's why I'm a little bit like, ugh, is because the places it fumbled felt unnecessary, and it felt like it was like a lack of imagination and ambition and a lack of being willing to really push. Because when you're asking these questions, these are hard questions. And when you're asking those questions that don't have easy answers, that's really difficult. And so I think for me, that's where, again, like I'm going to look at like Noel as like a hero in the game,
mhm,
the guard. Like
mhm,
that's
mhm.
who at the end of the day, I'm like, that's who I look at as like, Jihyun is not
Because
who I,
she pushed back.
yeah, I'm not
She
looking
pushed
at
back.
Jihyun as my goals. And I don't know
Uh-uh.
if we're but I truly think we're meant to. I was like, I could see if we're not meant to, and he just happened to be the end, but I feel like we are meant to look at him as goals because of his, like, "We're humans, not horses" speech. I'm like, one pithy statement that is like, "Yes, I agree with you. We are not human, or we are humans. We're not horses. We're not here just for everyone's entertainment." That wasn't enough for me at the end to be like, whatever else we're saying here, like, yeah, sometimes liberation means getting your hands way dirtier and way messier, and you want to be way more uncomfortable and push me harder and make me think more, make me not be able to sleep at night because I'm grappling with what I would have done. Give me that. That's what I want.
I love that, and I agree. I want to be Noel. I want to be standing up and doing something. I mean, she was the most active character. I think still Gi-hyun, I mean, in season 2 he like led the coup, but it wasn't really necessarily him alone. I would say season 3 he still felt kind of he wasn't passive, but I mean, I guess it is hard cuz
He
you're
just
in
was
the
always
game.
on the
How much
side of like
agency do you
bullshit
have?
male righteousness. Always, and it was always felt very man, and it always felt like it was just like there's this righteousness here, and like I alone have come back to save everyone. And
Like, can Greta Gerwig do can she do Squid Game?
yes,
Because you know what? Because Barbie, I'm don't care what anyone says, Barbie, that movie
slaps.
was
Yeah.
incredible, and it had so much to say, and it was so deep, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with me for real. So, I am Greta Gerwig is who did Barbie, right? I'm not like, okay, yeah, I will watch it. Get women involved. That's number 1. Get women involved, and then maybe I'll watch American Squid Game.
Yeah, I think that because yeah, and I mean, I don't think women were treated abysmally. I think they were treated good enough and they were interesting enough. And at the end of the day, though, I just feel so cheapened that you wanted me to buy Jihyun as like the real hero of Squid Game. I was like, nope,
Yeah, no, I was never gonna do that. I
no,
was not gonna do
I
that.
really
No,
wasn't
no, no.
either.
No,
And again, like
no.
in season 1, Jesus was the most like even how he went out, like Jesus, I was so much more invested in him the entire time of just seeing like what happens when you peel back just a little bit of like humanity, what comes out, and like what are people willing to do. I don't want to be fed this like semi noble old, and I mean like, yes, I mean I guess the Dohei stuff is to like be like, look, he isn't perfect, he is kind of flawed, and I was like, yeah, boring flawed though. Like
Yeah.
flawed where we still have to pretend like, he's still a good man. Yeah, I just yeah. Gi-hyun gets like a 3 out of 10 for me.
I mean, yeah, I was
No,
never
10
really
out of
into
10.
him.
I was like,
I
when they're like, "Don't kill me, I've been working with you and hanging out with you," and she's like, I was just like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, she's like, "I will save cancer dad, and I will get you home," and then the fact that she visited him,
yes. Yes,
she was
nothing like, and
so
that's what I'm
good.
saying, like, there's some things that Squid Game to me, that was so much more the like, yes, when she went thank you for bringing that up, like, when she went back without needing any flowers to go back and
Yeah.
see that this was working okay, and just to see that and have that moment to, like, fill her bucket of, like, I like, this is okay, like, this is happening, and, like, I'm gonna give the kid the lollipop, the dad's like, this is all gonna be okay. That to me was so much more like centering in humanity and hope, and we can be in this game and play and be enacted on and have parts of ourselves feel icky and gross and still hold our humanity and come through. Her character spoke to me on that journey so much more than Gi-hyun's.
Yeah, and also, I'm willing to do things for other people and receive nothing in return, and don't expect anything in return, don't want anything in return, like, I'm willing to just make good decisions
Yeah, and
for
be
other
willing
people.
to, like, cut a bitch when they need it because, like, you know what? If you're gonna be taking people's organs, like, she's like, "I don't play like that."
She would've stabbed everyone in that bed, in
She
those
would've
beds.
stabbed everyone in the bed,
Everyone.
saved the baby, gotten the
Mhm,
baby a diaper, given the baby baby bottles,
mhm.
taken the baby to Disneyland. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
Noel's the true winner of Squid Game.
Yeah, she is. God, I'm so glad we touched she was the best.
The
I
best.
I, like, forget how good she is because she was I would watch her scenes over and over again.
Yeah, she was great. So I guess that's where we leave it, is justice for
Oh my god.
Noel. We are mostly meh on American Squid Game unless they can make it a scathing social commentary with women running it. And Gihyun Shmihyun.
Gihan, I'm not, like, I'm not sad. We're not gonna have him in a
But
sequel.
if we can bring like frontman back, like if we can have the frontman come into Squid Game America too, like if there's still more, like I'm willing to also eat my hat if there's still more to some of these stories that we haven't heard
Yeah.
and we're not at the definitive end. Okay.
I'll give it a shot depending on, what happens. I
It's
will.
gonna
I
depend
will.
on casting, it's gonna depend on a lot, but, I mean, for me, overall, I'm very, like, it could end up being brilliant, in my opinion. I'm giving it a 3% chance, but I am
I
hanging
know,
on that,
right?
like, it
It
could,
Yeah,
but I'm mostly
it could be
like,
good.
"No, no, no."
Yeah.
And the only
Yeah,
reason I'm
I know.
saying that it could be is because we are in a time where we could use we really any tool we can have to further critical thought, like this is the time, like we are in like the red alarm right now in this country of like critical thought needed so much and space because we have so many people who are either like actively checking out and dissociating because they're like it's too much, it's too bad, it's too gross, like I can't do, like I need to just check out, or we have people who are just like I mean, I don't know, maybe it's okay. I don't think that legals should come and my tax money, but they haven't like unpacked it to where they're just like feed them to Alcatraz, the alligators. Like those people, I mean,
Right.
those people, right?
Yeah,
And so, but
yeah.
the majority of people are those people in the middle that would turn on a fucking show on Netflix and watch it. Maybe like have like an epiphany at some point. I mean,
You can
yes,
only
it's
hope.
ridiculous. I'm saying it, but I'm like, I'm not too pure to hope for anything at this point.
Right,
What's gonna get
right,
through
I know.
anyone's head who hasn't, like, looked at the horrors, looked at the void, and been like or even noticed there is a void. They're just like, "I don't know, I gotta, like, just pay my
No,
taxes and, like,
they have no they don't think there's a void.
go to Disneyland." And, like, not know why, like, my family can't like, my children aren't gonna be able to buy houses, and when I'm in elder care, I'm gonna go bankrupt because it's, like, $6,000 a month to go to a shitty ass care facility, and I'm not gonna have Social Security, I'm not gonna have any safety nets, I'm gonna have to pay $1,000 a year if my kid's gonna go to college, and then they're still not gonna get a good enough job, and then AI is coming for everything. Things are hard, and I'm not saying it's all bad, there's lots of good, but there's a lot of bad, and I want some people, and I think there's a plenty of people who are like, "Whoa, what's happening?" And there's so many more people who are just like, "Boop, boop, boop, boop." So turn on Netflix America and be like, "Oh, this is scary. I don't want to do this."
God. I mean, truly, truly, if you could make a Squid Game that actually a US Squid Game that actually said something. Like, sign me up then. I'll eat my words and I'll watch it and I'll love it. I'll love it.
So let's
Okay.
see.
I think
And then they're going to be like,
and
it's
again,
woke. It's a woke game.
oh yeah, that's true. They'll be like, Squid Game went woke. Like, where were you in 2021? It's always been like this.
Yes.
Like, like that's the thing. If that is sometimes I see people say they like Squid Game and I'm like, I don't do you actually know what this is about? Like sometimes I really want like they're just like, oh, they play kid games and they die. It's like,
Yeah.
man, this is way over your head, isn't it?
Critical thinking 101 is always a gift that we can hope that people will want to receive at some point.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right. Well, again, we talked for freaking 2 hours about Squid Game. I did not expect us to do this, but there it is. That's what we always do. Okay. Well, I hope you liked it. Let us know what you think. And until next time, Anya.
감사합니다. Thank you for listening to Afternoon of Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoon of Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!